Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about frequently asked questions and answers in clinical research associate job interview. So, let's get started. Now, what is informed consent? Informed consent is the process of verifying person's willingness to participate in a research project. Prior to enrollment in a clinical trial, researchers inform participants about all the relevant study details and known risk. Participants are then provided an informed consent document that details all the important study information including its purpose, duration, risk, potential benefits, required procedures, and key contacts. If the participant's native language is not English, then translation assistance can be provided. Once participants have had a chance to read this form and ask questions, if they agree to participate in the trial, they will ask to sign an informed consent document. The informed consent document is not a contract. Participation in the clinical trial is a voluntary and the participants may withdraw from the trial at any time without penalty or loss of benefits to which he or she is otherwise entitled. The research team actively maintains an informed consent throughout the entire trial by providing the participants with any new or developing information as needed. Next, will I be paid to participate in the clinical trial, or is there a cost to participate? Compensation for participants is unique with each clinical trial and each sponsoring partner. This is a question that should be discussed with the researcher when considering participating in a clinical trial. The experimental compound as well as tests and procedures associated with the trial are usually provided at no cost to the participants. In most cases, the cost of routine tests and procedures not associated with the trial are the responsibility of the participants or the participants' insurance carrier. What are the benefits and risks of participating in a clinical trial? Benefits include playing an active role in one's healthcare, gaining access to medications that may not be available for a significant amount of time, and helping others by participating in a trial so the treatment can potentially be approved and made available to the public. And risks include participation in a clinical trial may involve some risk that your doctor will explain in more detail. These risks are side effects that are known and those have not yet been identified. Risk associated with study procedures. The experimental treatment may be ineffective or less effective than the current standard. The experimental treatment may not work for every patient. Additionally, in some clinical trials, the patient may not receive the experimental treatment but the current standard or a placebo. In addition to the risk listed above, the trial might require the participants' time and attention, including trips to the study site, more treatments, hospital stays, or complex dosage requirements. What is expanded access? Expanded access is a means by which manufacturers make investigational new drug available under certain circumstances to treat a patient with a serious disease or condition who cannot participate in a controlled clinical trial. Most human use of investigational new drug takes place in a controlled clinical trial conducted to assess the safety and efficacy of a new drug. Data from these trials are used to determine whether a drug is safe and effective and serve as a basis for the drug marketing application. Sometimes patients do not qualify for these controlled trials because of other health problems, age or other factors, or otherwise unable to enroll in such trials. For example, patient may not live sufficiently close to a clinical trial site. And For patients who cannot participate in clinical trials of an investigational drug but have a serious disease or condition that may benefit from treatment with the drug, FDA regulations enable manufacturers of such drugs to provide those patients access to the drug under certain situations. That is called as expanded access. For example, the drug cannot expose patient to unreasonable risk given the severity of the disease to be treated and the patient does not have any other satisfactory therapeutic option. For example, an approved drug that could be used to treat the patient's disease or condition. The manufacturer must be willing to make the drug available for expanded access use. The primary intent of expanded access is to provide treatment for patient's disease or condition rather than to collect data about the studied drug. Some investigational drugs are available for treatment used for pharmaceutical manufacturers through expanded access program listed in clinical trials government. If you or your loved one is interested in treatment with an investigational drug under an expanded access protocol listed in clinical trials government, review the protocol eligibility criteria and inquire at the contact information number. If there is a not expanded access protocol listed in clinical trials government, you or your healthcare provider may contact a manufacturer of an investigational drug directly to ask about expanded access programs. What is primary and secondary endpoints? Primary endpoints are the specific events that the study is designed to assess the effect of the drugs upon. It answers the most important question of clinical trial. They are also called as a primary outcome measures. Secondary endpoints are additional event of the interest but for which the study is not specifically powered to assess. They are also known as a secondary outcome measure. What is treatment arm? A group of a subject that receive a specific interventions, treatment or no intervention in a clinical trial. A group of subjects which receive treatment are called treatment arm. Active comparator arm. Group of subjects which receive standard treatment. Placebo comparator arm. Group of subjects again receive standard treatment. Sham comparator arm. Group of subjects which receive same procedure or device without active component or process. It is like placebo arm but for medical devices and procedures. What is randomization? As per National Cancer Institute, in research, the process by which the participants in a clinical trial are assigned by chance to separate groups that are given different treatment or other intervention. Neither the researcher nor the patient chooses what medication or intervention they should receive. Using chance of assigning people to group means that the result of the care or intervention obtained by the participants can be more equally compared. What do you know about ICH and GCP? ICH is nothing but the International Council of Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceutical for Human Use. Guidelines provided by ICH can be divided into four categories: quality, safety, efficacy and multidisciplinary guidelines. GCP is good clinical practices. It is provided by ICH. ICH E6R2 segment provides detailed information about GCP. GCP offers a system of guidelines to ensure the health of participants in the study and quality and validity of data. Now, what is SAP? SAP is a statistical analysis plan and it is a document that contains detailed information about the statistical methods and the study objectives to help in production of clinical study report, that is CSR, that includes figures, summary tables and subject data listing for protocol. documentation of program variables and algorithms which would be used to produce descriptive statistics and statistical analysis. Now, why SAP is important? SAP is the document that contains detailed information regarding the statistical methods and study objectives to help in the production of clinical study report, that is CSR, including figures, summary tables, subject data, listing for protocol, documentation of program variables and algorithms that will be used to generate summary statistics and statistical analysis are also contained in this. What do you understand by CRT? CRT means case report tabulation. CRT is assigned to the FDA whenever a pharmaceutical company is submitting an NDA. What should people consider before participating in a trial? People should know as much as possible about the clinical trial and feel comfortable asking the members of the healthcare team questions about it. The care expected while in a trial and the cost of the trial. The following questions might be helpful for the participant to discuss with the healthcare team. Some of the answers to these questions are found in the informed consent document. So, where do the ideas for trials come from? Ideas for clinical trials usually come from researchers. After researchers test new therapies or procedures in the laboratory and in animal studies, the experimental treatments with the most promising laboratory results are moved into clinical trials. During a trial, more and more information is gained about an experimental treatment, its risk, and how well it may or may not work. Does a participant continue to work with a primary healthcare provider while in a trial? Answer is yes. Most clinical trials provided short-term treatment related to a designated illness or condition, but do not provide extended or complete primary health care. In addition, by having the healthcare provider work with the research team, the participant can ensure the other medications or treatment will not conflict with the protocol.